Somebody asked somebody asked in the break, could I introduce the speakers with a little bit more than I didn't introduce Sveta. So apologies to Sveta for that. We get a second bite at Sveta a little bit later on with Avery. So Assaf is the Fazan of the Reformed Synagogue in Hamburg. He was born in Israel. He began his musical development playing drum, saxophone and clarinet. Later on in his military service as correspondent and editor in B'Machane, which is the IDF weekly magazine. He joined the National Choir of Israel and he's been singing professionally ever since. His musical career also includes composing, arranging, choir directing, teaching and speaking at ECA conferences. In 2016, he completed his training as cantor at the Abraham Geiger College of Potsdam University. He wrote his master's thesis about Alberto Hems's liturgical music. Later on, he released his first complete recording of Hems's vocal music on a triple CD. With his ensemble Cantorial, he has been part of the official cultural program sponsored by the Central Committee of Jews in Germany since 2014. In 2017, he founded the Kolok Vocal Quintet, an ensemble for Jewish and Israeli music, which bases its repertoire on Assaf's arrangements. His recording of the Maitz Nusach is considered to be the benchmark recording of the South German liturgical tradition, and it is frequently referenced by experts. Other CD recordings, Other CD recordings include synagogal music with organ, a Shabbos evening service by Samuel Lampel, and Israeli jazz amble liturgical music composed by Assaf, and many more. In 2016, he performed at numerous old synagogues in Germany and Poland as part of the Makomot project, giving 5 works their debut performances and presenting several classical chazanot. I present to you Assaf Levitin.
Thank you. It's a wonderful introduction on my birthday. Thank you. I wasn't fishing for compliments, I was just very impressed with my introduction. Thank you. So, right before we start, I would like to give the proper credit to 2 institutes who are in this building. You mentioned the Hemzi recordings would not have been possible without the Europäisches Institut für Jüdische Musik. Sarah Voss is here. Hi Sarah, great to have you. And I think she even has a few CDs if you're interested to purchase at the break. And Elia, who was our partner with the 3rd CD of the Cantors. So thank you. Yeah, and I think the same applies also to the CD. You can purchase it from these 2 wonderful people who are sitting and listening. I'm going to present a work in progress. And there are a few colleagues here who are members of our union or Verband. I don't know exactly how to say how the proper word in association, organization. Okay. Anyway, our new association, which was founded about a year ago. It's called the Verband Jüdischer Cantoren, and the name is also a reference to the Verband, to the association that had existed in Germany. I think was founded as Lewandowski time, and then renewed and re-established actually until the Shoah. And it used to be an association that dealt with astoundingly similar problems that we deal with today. Only we didn't have an association. So, it's funny because I just received a few months ago the very, very old magazines or the newsletter, the first edition written by Lewandowski, and and he's just telling all our problems, and I'm just going to mention a few. Money, our status in the congregations, our relationships with the rabbis, progress versus tradition, and the thing that really makes a Verband like our Verband very, very special and very difficult in a way, is that each and every one of us is the only one in one's town. Maybe there's two, maybe there's three. Berlin has 7. I don't know. But if Sveta has a problem in Braunschweig and I'm in Hamburg, I cannot demonstrate. We cannot. It would be really difficult to arrange a demonstration like unions do, right? So we are a union that very seldom, if ever, comes together. Thank goodness there's technology. Thanks to Corona, there's even like certain possibilities that had emerged in this very strict nation of Germany, like how do you form Verband, eingetragener Verein, sorry. Verein, yeah.
Union.
A union, no, it's just like a group, association. You have to have, yes, sir?
Yeah, but the association, so the eingetragene Verein, is a very smart thing in Germany. You only need 7 people.
Yeah, but you need them to get together. You need them to get together. So, thank Corona, it just became possible to have it per Zoom. This is, for example, like one problem that was why it took so long, because we have been thinking about it for ages, and we're not the first one to have been thinking about it. Germany is the land of thinkers. People think about stuff, they think about it, and then they think that they should decide, and then they decide they should think about it even more. And after they've decided, they said, okay, let's do it, but let's just think about it once more.
The best way to get everybody together is like today through the European Cantors Association, which gets all different associations under one roof together, right across the board, and so people can interact from. You've got members here who you may not have seen, but because they've come to ECA, this convention, they're members of the German Verband. So, and we have from the Cantors Assembly, we have from various different groups. So, conventions like we do, which we're very, very happy with, gets people together, because right across the board, there's no difference, there's no us, as I said, and you and us and them and us and this. We're all together doing the same thing. We are championing liturgy, we're championing the work of the Chazan or the Cantor in the synagogue, that they're not second-class citizens. They're the Shliach Tzibor is the one that transfers the prayers from this world to heaven. And without the Shliach Tzibor, there would be no services. And we have to get this over, that people should understand, the presidents, the rabbis and everything, this is our job, and we should be rewarded for it, or given the right status, and this is what Assaf is trying to say.
I'm totally with you with the transcendental, but we're trying to keep our feet on the ground and talk about money, contracts, and the tacheles, which is really like, without that, it's really difficult to do what we love and want to do, which is really to serve our congregations. I want to tell you a few examples of things that brought us, like the kick in the butt that made us say, we need to get serious about it. We had one, I'm not going to mention names unless maybe I should. So there was one colleague who was serving the congregation. Suddenly there came a new rabbi, ultra-Orthodox, and he questioned the Chazan's wife's giyur, because she converted to Judaism, liberal style, which in Germany is you have to acknowledge that because of the the model of Einheitsgemeinden. There's just one congregation, and everybody who's Jewish is a member and has all the rights. But this rabbi just decided, no, she's not. So the Chazan cannot officiate, and it ended by the Chazan having to look for another job. Yeah, and there was just nobody to help or to say anything or to, I don't know, to give advice. It was just like this person against a congregation. I'm going to do something because I don't feel that the shame is on my side, so I'm going to tell you that the liberal congregation in Hannover, whose cantor I was, gave me a letter, black and white, that the Chazan is not an officiating clergy, but just responsible for the musical embellishment, which made me leave. If I hadn't had it black and white, I wouldn't have told you that. And I was alone on that too. And we had a few more cases of people being left totally alone in front of the congregation, and we said we have to do a bit more than just calling a colleague and say, "Be strong, my friend." We need to form some kind of something that we can look up and say, okay, these are our standards here. And there just wasn't any. I don't think, I mean, there still isn't because we're very young, but now there's a union, which is a start. And we already started I'm going to talk about some more of the challenges that we have. So every city or small town in Germany which has a Jewish congregation is a totally different story. Some of them are Vereine themselves, like we are, like an association of people. Sometimes they fund themselves or they get all kinds of donations. Others have a Staatsvertrag. Others, like for example Hannover, Hannover has 4 congregations. So the liberal, which I'm familiar with, used to be familiar with, managed to do a Gemeindeschaltung. They managed to tell the city the money that's going to the Einheitsgemeinde, to this united congregation, we're leaving and we want to get our share. And they got also like a parallel representation, and then there are then there are two more congregations in Hannover. One of them is the Bukhara congregation, the other one is Chabad, which are kind of independent. But the city has sponsors two congregations, the liberal and the Orthodox. In other cities, you have different stories. I'm in Hamburg now. We have in the congregation a liberal and a Reform and an Orthodox synagogue, and there's another liberal union which has nothing to do with the congregation. So, you know, so if you're a cantor for them, and how much do you get paid? And if you work for a congregation, like what kind of tarif, like what tables of payment you need to look at? What is your job? And if you have like a 50% job, what does it include except getting half of the money? Because normally, you know, half a job is half the payment, it's not half the work. And they're very, you know, they get very angry if you say, well, I'm doing Rosh Hashanah, but I'm not doing Pesach. Because 50%. No. 50% means, you know, most of the days of the week you don't work. Because we're liberal, right? I mean, so it's anyway, like, it's a fifth job anyway. So, you know, there's a lot of issues that just hadn't been attended, and nobody knew. And when we started, we said we want to do some, like, to map the congregations. How many congregations are there in Germany? So there's the Zentralrat, you know, the central council, right? Central Council of Jews in Germany, which has all the information about the Jewish congregations who are members, but there are congregations who are not members of the Zentralrat. And do they have cantors? Who are the cantors? Are they professionally trained or like half professionally trained? Who are these people? How do they get paid, if at all, and what are they? You know, it's just like being, each one of us knew about the place where we worked, but nothing more. So one of the things that we did was sending a survey to all the congregations we could find, and just asking them, like, are you liberal or Orthodox, or what are you? Do you have a full-time, half-time cantor? How often do you do services? How many congregants do you have? Do you use instruments, yes or no? Are you egalitarian, yes or no? What's your tzidur? Like, you know, we just didn't know. We just didn't know. And I have to say, unfortunately, most of the congregations didn't get back to us, but we did get some kind of idea. And then we started asking each other. We did a survey, asking each other, like, tell me exactly what's your job? Is it a part-time or a full-time job? Do you do like 1 or 2 days Rosh Hashanah? And so on. What are your obligations? So the first stage, and we're still at this first stage, is really realizing what's going on. We're in the midst of a, let's say, a discussion with the Zentralrat about a program called Shatz Matz. Shatz Matz, Shliach Tzibur Magid Tzedek, is a program that the Zentralrat has delegated to the Allgemeine Rabbiner Conference, which is the liberal rabbinical assembly, to help out congregations who don't have a steady cantor/rabbi, just to do a Shabbat or to do Chag or whatever. So they can call the Shatz Matz program and say, we need send us somebody for the next Shabbat, and they pay a very little amount of money, I think, I don't know, like 75 euro, and the Schatzmaß program, with the money coming from the Zentralat, is making it worthwhile for cantors / rabbis to do that. We gave an interview. I'm sorry, I just need I'm the second guy. I'm the vice president, if you want. Our president is Amnon Zelig, who is the cantor in Mannheim, and our Kassenbart, our money guy, is Paul Yuval Adam from Bielefeld. And we have here also Lea Frey-Rabina, who was very, very instrumental in forming all the formalities. And Sveta is also a member, and Yoed.
Yalda.
And Yalda, of course, I'm sorry, of course, from the first moment. Founding members, we're all founding members actually.
We found each other.
We found each other, right. It was even like, because the founding, the first meeting for Zoom was then, there was something wrong because there's some small thing about the protocol, so we had to do it again in order to be acknowledged as a Verein, and then we had to sign, and again, we're all over the place, so we had to do like a chain letter, to sign and send to the next guy and send to the next guy, and so this also just signing the documents took 2 weeks. But okay, I mean, it was fun. So there's no rule of thumb like how much you get paid or what's your job. Again, without mentioning names, a colleague who used to work in a very, very big congregation, we know, very wealthy also, has a wonderful contract with the city, was getting about half as much as he's gotten in his next job with a congregation that's about 10 times smaller. And so we really don't know, and we have to set some kind of a standard, like how a contract looks like, and if you have problems, who you go to. And so these are our goals. Any questions so far, or any commentaries? Yes, please.
Yes. So this is first of all, this is very interesting. How you run the state is the main thing here.
Thank you.
Is there a rabbinic organization that sort of represents liberal union?
Very, very good question. I think I failed to mention that we are both Orthodox and liberal. I mean, our point of view is the Cantors' relation to the congregation, or the job of the Cantor / Cantoress. Amnon Zelig, for example, although he did go to the Avangaya College, has served only Orthodox congregations, and he's an Orthodox cantor. Yes, Jana?
I think we have to explain something for Americans and Brits. The German system is very different. So in the United States, when you have, I don't know, 20 people who want to form a community, they just do it. And then they collect money and find the Torah and so on. But here, here we have a system, a German system, it calls Körperschaft öffentlichen Rechts. It's a legal entity. And so the entire Jewish world is constructed vertical. So there is the council, the Zentralrat. They make the contracts with the government. We pay our taxes. mostly not directly to the communities, but to the state. And then the money comes back to the communities. So, and like here in Hannover, they have an extra contract with the country of Saxony. I guess it's also for Oldenburg. But then comes the money from above. So it also means one of the problems we have, the money comes from above, so why should we look for new money? So that's the most problem. And you are talking about communities who are somehow under the umbrella of the Zentralrat. But we are getting more and more. I just got an invitation for Berlin Treptow. A group of Jews will come together and Yada, please can you come to teach us? Yeah, so it is somehow suddenly a grassroots movement is starting here in Germany. And that's the fourth work we get to do for those who don't have a big something above them.
I'm sorry, I have to...
Is there, let's say, a rabbinic organization, umbrella organization?
So there are two. There's the Orthodox Rabbiner Conference and there's the Allgemeine Rabbiner Conference, which is the liberal, just to give you a short answer. Sveta, you know to say?
Yeah, we started to talk about it.
Yes, about the Schatzmatz.
Because I reached out to the Schatzmatz program in the past about your colleague and friend that you would sometimes come and substitute when I couldn't make a service in my synagogue. And a while ago I reached out to Schatzmatz because she would be paid better than I could afford to pay from my pocket. And I got an answer now that you have a rebuttal.
Exactly.
Sorry,
Exactly. So the thing that happened, let me just tell you, because it's kind of, it would have been funny if it were not funny. So we gave an interview in the radio, I think, Amnon and I, and we said, this is not right that the Allgemeine Rabbiner Conference is in charge of getting us jobs, because they need to care about their own people, which is fine. I have no problem with that. It's just a structural problem, right? And they made a price list. Shabbos, Rabbi, 600, Cantor, 450. Yamin Olaim, Rabbi, 2,000, Cantor, 1,200, and so on.
Right.
Now, we were not represented. Nobody asked us. So we said, no, guys, I mean, we're not taking it anymore. We don't want anybody to set our prices. And then they read it, and they decided, you know what, you're right, you take care of your own business. We'll keep the money from the Zentralrat and just do our stuff, and you take care of your stuff. And so we realized, ever since January this year, there is no Schatzmatz anymore for Cantors.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so we started corresponding with the Zentralrat and with them. And right now it's a stalemate. We still haven't solved it because the Zentralrat told the Allgemeine Rabbiner Conference, guys, you have the money to do both. And then they said, you know what, okay, we're taking it back with the old price list. And by the way, sorry, 223 is already, we've already run out of money. So there is no Yamin Noraim for Cantors anymore. We were talking about it already in May, I think, the latest, and we said, guys, this is the last minute really to still get jobs for people. So I'm sorry, next year. And so right now we're stuck, and we still have to figure out what to do. I mean, we wrote a letter about that, but probably nobody's really taking it too seriously. So we'll have to figure out what we're going to do about getting the Schatzmatz program or a parallel Schatzmatz program for ourselves. Another problem with that is really that the Schatzmatz is held by a liberal organization, and as liberal as I probably am, I also represent Orthodox Cantors, and I want them to be part because we're stronger together. And sometimes, you know, maybe I will go to do a Shabbat in an Orthodox synagogue. It's not like I don't know how to do it. This is really like one issue that is very, it's a burning issue right now. Like how do we get this Schatzmatz back, and how do we define our own worth, and not automatically saying, like, you know, if you get, I have a lot of respect for rabbis, but we do quite a lot of work in a service, right? I mean, why should we get 60% of what they get? I mean, yes.
Do you have a problem? You mentioned obviously together that you would like the Orthodox and the liberal communities to be one voice, one together.
No. The Cantors.
Yeah,
the Cantors
So when it comes to, as you mentioned, you can daven in a liberal or a reform, and you can daven in an Orthodox.
Right.
Is it right across Germany that there's no, once you daven in a reform or a liberal, you cannot daven in an Orthodox community?
I wouldn't say that. No, I mean, you know, most of Germany is Einheitsgemeinde.
Okay.
It means like one pot, everybody's in, and it's more like Orthodox style or liberal style. It's the same, really the very same people. And I can tell you also, being a Reform Cantor in Hamburg, there are people who are coming, you know, sometimes they come to us, then they go to the Orthodox, run by a Chabadnik, and it's fine. It's fine. I mean, and last week I gave a concert in Hamburg together with Menachem, with the Orthodox Cantor, and it's fine with me, and it should be, there should be no problem. I think there's just like more options for people to, you know, to go to a synagogue, which is, you know, what we all want. We want the community. We want people getting together.
But that's the problem we have in the UK. The United Synagogue, which is the
like once you go liberal, you can't go back.
They don't want you to, you know, you sign away your life and you can't do that. If you sing in a concert, you can sing in a concert in a hall or somewhere else, but once you go over to what they say, the liberal, the reform, or the egalitarian, you're finished within the Orthodox, which that to me is disgusting. At least in America or other places, you don't have this big problem. But in the UK, there's
so I think we don't have this problem. I'm not aware. Maybe my colleagues are better aware of that, but I'm not aware of this problem in Germany. One thing is, like, you know, Germany has still not come back from the war, from the Shoah. One thing is that, you know, there isn't any big name Cantor in Germany. I mean, we are all big name Cantors, but I mean, like, I know for a fact that some big shot Cantors were trying to get jobs in Germany. Big names, right? And they come because, for example, when you know, a guy is in LA or somewhere, you know, far away from Israel, and his old parents in Israel, and he wants to spend a few years like closer to them. And very big congregations. I'm not going to mention names, but there are about 3 really big cities in Germany. Said no. Because,
We have this in Frankfurt. There was a wonderful singer who came over here actually to want to audition for the opera houses. They needed a husband. They hired him. A certain portion of the congregation in the Hauptsynagoge, in the main synagogue there, didn't like him because he didn't sound nasal and he wasn't their type of singer. And so he was, they bullied him out of it.
Yeah, I see.
And this is not, this happens way too often.
Yeah.
You also get the migration journey young that are lying when you get Cantors coming into Germany from outside, like they do. The rabbis can't do the services.
Yeah, but
this
you
one
have,
can't do the services.
but you don't have
So-
the superstars coming.
Right.
You have decent people, very decent people sometimes.
This was the criticism, as a matter of fact. He sounds too professional, he sounds too much like an opera singer.
Yeah.
That was the reason
Heard
that they
that. I
didn't
heard
want
that.
him. Gee.
I agree with that. So we don't do Lewandowski, we don't do this stupid.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just like it's not like just a second. Sure. It's just like there's no awareness of like why don't we get like a brilliant cantor and you know and be proud of it and have people come over and you know it's just doesn't really seem to be important enough. Yes, please, you wanted to.
What you're saying is that you're trying to form a committee of chazonim here, and you can't form a committee with your chazonim and rabbonim, right? You'd like to.
I'm not a rabbi, so I wouldn't.
No, I
wouldn't
mean
even
what
try.
I'm saying is in order to try to find out or get answers to all your questions. What happens in the shul boards and the synagogue boards when you have a chairman and vice chairman? So you've got to first of all form a board, a committee, in your own synagogue with these people. So do they not have an answer? Instead of you acting yourself and deciding you want this price and that price, how can you? Yeah, but you have to form a committee yourself, a strong committee. So where are your chairman and vice chairman in this? What you're saying is you're trying to answer all these questions just having a chazonim committee, right? You're trying to form your own committee. But
I think you're looking at it from a UK group on Bay Shoulders individual. Here they've got big daddy over the time.
Yes, but if you form each synagogue forms this committee and then come together with a big committee with chairman, vice chairman, you'll have more power.
I don't think I quite got your question. I mean, there is a committee to every synagogue.
Yeah.
And they are the people with whom we sign our contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hire or fire, or they make sure.
One of the interesting things in the history of the Cantors Assembly is that the Cantors Assembly actually argued before the secular district courts of the United States, like the Circuit Court of Appeals, in order to get parsonage, which is a tax benefit to the Cantors. Actually redounded. They succeeded twice in federal court, and it redounded on all Cantors across America because they were able to claim parsonage because they were fulfilling ministerial functions.
Right.
And even if the rabbis would not recognize at that time, and Abe was a past president, might be able to say more about this, even if the rabbis at the time were reluctant to acknowledge the clergy work and the Klei Kodesh work of the Cantors in the civic level because of the Protestant definition of ministry, the government in the United States and the court system acknowledged that they were holy ministers. I don't know how the system works in Germany in terms of benefits for ministers and how rabbis are recognized. But I wonder if there's a similar argument, especially with the Lutheran context of a lot of Germans.
There is no definition of cantors, and also, you know, the word cantor in German is totally different. In German, like German Christian cantors are really not clergies. So it's different and it's difficult. By the way, because it's a federal, it's a federal state. Or it's a federal republic. I remember, for example, one of our colleagues was supposed to get a job, and there would have been a job if he were a rabbi. And they just they wanted to have him, they wanted to have Cantor. So they had to re-legislate in the parliament of this Bundesstaat, of this, just to do like /Cantor.
Yeah.
And then you can get the money. Yes, please.
Apropos to our discussion, just to give some historical context.
Yes.
Interesting that some time ago, a rabbi was interpreting the earliest terminology in the sense that Yored Lifnei HaTeva. Before it says Yored Lifnei HaTeva. And they said it's a Yored, you know, not realizing that the very term refers to the fact that it was a space of Yerida, because Mima Makim Praticha Adonai. And so terminology and culture and context is sometimes misinterpreted, and that's something that we have to understand.
Absolutely, and even more so if the terminology defines the law. Yes.
I think this very interpretive thing may be the root of the problems we're having with the ECA right now. This misunderstanding. I had a talk with a rabbi member, who shall remain nameless, about that very thing. She said, well, our education is so much more complicated. We have to study so much more than you Cantors do. I said, what?
Yeah.
Give me a break. Can you lead a service? And I know she can't. Can you lead a service? Do you know which nusach is for what? You know, we not only have partially rabbinic education, we do at least in Aleph. We also have the whole musical education, so our education is even more complicated than yours. She went in one ear and out the other, but I think our problem is the German interpretation of what a cantor is, and that's by its nature not an officiator.
I think, like, generally, I agree totally with you, Leah, but I would like to say that it's a problem in the world that music is not being acknowledged as profound knowledge, but just as a nice thing.
Tell the musicologists that.
Stop using cantor and use chazan.
I do.
Then that definitive word is important, and then put chazan, incorporating cantor, shliach, whatever you want to do. Like this is the head of the company, and then you have the tributaries going down. But if you use the word chazan and it's universal, even if it's introduced something, definition of, then it becomes law as a definition, recognised wherever it might be in the world. Cantor is too loose because it cantor cantata, where the root of the word is. So they look it up, they don't understand, which is completely different from what the prayer means.
Well, I say chazan in every interview, in every public speech. I use the term chazan.
But also the other thing is what Leah was saying with the definition. In order to be a shliach tzibur, you have to know the laws appertaining to what it is to be a shliach tzibur, to prepare for the service, parasha milas, the various other things that a rabbi doesn't have to know, or a lay person doesn't have to know. But in order to understand dikduk and various other things, and the halacha of being a shliach tzibur, it's not just going up, singing and davening, it's the preparation to understand, to convey. When you're davening as a person for your kehillah, you are acting as an emissary between your community. Now, all they have to do is say Amen, as long as you have them in mind with the bracha.
You're very lucky to have a congregation who knows when to say
if you take it to that extreme, that's all you do. Like the Gemara states with the big synagogue in Alexandria in Egypt, where they put the flag up and everybody answered Amen and so on and so forth. All these things are tools which the chazan has, which they don't use when it comes to getting what a chazan should have with the respect within the community. If you understand the history or where the chazan comes from, Egypt, and far back as time immemorial, the oldest profession in the Jewish religion, in religion itself, and the various other religions took their galotting, you know, the reverends and everything from us, from where.
Alex, I have 10 more minutes, and I would like to just to address to the most important questions. Question in the room is, how can we help you? So thanks for stating this question. I hadn't expected it to come so. First of all, if any of you guys is a cantor in Germany and I'm not aware of that and hasn't yet joined the union, please do. And it's very reasonable. We take a symbolic 180 euro per year. Of course, we can pay more if they want, or 15 euro per month, whichever. It's tax deductible. We have also the honorary membership, or Fördermitgliedschaft. I mean, you can sponsor us. You can be a sponsoring member. And after the show, I'm gonna pass this on. You can scan it. We have a website. It's only in German, but I think donate might be even in English. So you can donate money for us. And the things. Now we were talking about. I was mainly talking about problems, but I also would like to end with the vision. Because I mean, without a vision, I would just, it's a time in the world when we need visions. We would like to make the Chazanut, everything about Chazanut in Germany, or the musical Chazanic scene in Germany, important again. In many different ways. One of the ways is we would like to contribute in exploring the dynasty of Jewish German music. We all know Lewandowski, but by now we know that he was not alone, and there's so much to explore and so much. You were mentioning that there's another CD, for example, with the music by Samuel Lampel, who was very, very important cantor in Leipzig. So just, even just bringing the knowledge and finding the choirs, finding the labels, finding the venues to bring this music back, or to have good musical material, because so many choir conductors just tell me, where do I find this amazing music? I mean, we need to reprint, sometimes do like critical notes. Do you want to go Ashkenazi, like to remain Ashkenazi, or do you want to re-scribe the notes so that it's modern Hebrew, and if so, you want to do some alterations. I mean, there's a lot of editorial work, a lot of editorial decisions, and I don't know. I mean, sometimes it just goes by the piece if I'm going to touch it or not. I'm Israeli. I mean, I would like to sing everything Sephardi, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I sing Ashkenazi. So we want, first of all, to polish the jewels and show them again, what an incredible tradition we have. We would also like to try and bring new music. There was one endeavor also in this house. There was a composition competition, and one of the categories was synagogue music. So there was, I think, an El Maneh Rachamim for cantor and choir, which won the first prize. I had the honor of being in the jury. And so we're trying to really be relevant again, not just do machane or stuff, but to become more important, more influential, and more self-defining as the Cantors of Germany. And so the things that your money could support would be in organizing concerts, in organizing, in getting notes printed and spread out, in getting maybe also we come to you, we come to you, and having like more working closely together to get to know each other, to influence one another, to be influenced, and to develop this wonderful thing that is the glory of the past in Germany. That, if you're in Munich, you know that you're in Munich because they have the Munich music, and then you go to Hamburg and you know that you're in Hamburg because they have the Hamburg music, and Frankfurt, and Berlin, and Leipzig, and every city had like a person, and everybody sang a bit of their own cantor and a lot of Lewandowski, but still there was a very clear identity, and we're very different persons. I'm just looking like on this row, and there's like 4 totally different musical personalities doing totally different things, and there's place really for all of it. So the vision is really to make the chazanut, to give the chazanut the right place and the right accent and importance. And it's like everything in life, in organizations, it's impossible without money. Yes, please.
2 questions. One is, who would we send such money? Is there an address? Is there a website?
Yep.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
And
I think Leah would be delighted to help you.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
We'll get you
It's,
hooked up.
and you get a Spenderschein, like you get everything you can.
Tax deductible.
Tax deductible, everything. Yeah.
We in the States, we're members of the Cantor Assembly, as Matt referred to already, we've already won a lot of these battles, so we have resources. I'm being moved to say, I want to share. The other question I have is totally different.
Yes.
You were talking about Ashkenazi versus Sephardi, and you're an Israeli, so you want to do things in, I don't like to call it Sephardi, but Israeli Hebrew.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Sephardi style.
What are the expectations of the Kahal? Do they want to hear the accent of old? So in other words, if you're in
I think most of them want to hear the Hebrew that they also don't know, but that they hear. I know one thing I know that Amnon, my dear colleague, and our President Amnon, when he started, he was trying to read the Ashkenazi, and they told him not to. Yeah, Western Ashkenazi, which would be the right tradition.
Yeah.
But they told him, please don't. I think the Ashkenazi, unless it's really an ultra-Orthodox congregation, which is irrelevant to any of us, they would appreciate modern Hebrew.
So they want to hear Israeli?
Yes, yes.
what's the word Ashkenaz?
To teach our communities too, because our communities also lost the
Yeah, that is what Amnon was trying to do, but they didn't want to. Because nobody is Yiddish, they came from Poland,
Berlin Ashkenaz pronunciation, and everybody was wondering because we were modern Hebrew, and so till we understood that we were and we were
be a point landing now. But
In Germany, we have to create old new traditions together with our
it's basically our time's up right now, but I'll take 2 more questions. Yes, please.
Asking for a friend, what is the word Ashkenaz mean?
Ashkenaz, the actual meaning of the word Ashkenaz is German, but Ashkenazi style is considered to be the East European or European style, as opposed to the Sephardi, which is...
tongue-in-cheek question.
Right, okay, good.
We have a group in London that call themselves Traveling Hasidim.
Traveling Hasidim.
Traveling Hasidim. And they come to various communities when they're asked, and they conduct a Friday night and Shabbos and Yom and they came to our shul. This is talking about accents, and I really felt I had to congratulate them on their modern approach when they Friday night said, I congratulated them, they actually moved him to the feminine form.
That comment, I'd like to make another comment, and that is I once wanted to sing a piece that was set, and it had an accent that I didn't, that wasn't correct, okay? An Ashkenazi accent. And it's, and it would kill the whole piece if I were to do the proper accent. Here's the example. Sing shalom, sing shalom. I wanted to say sing shalom. Now, if I were to sing shalom,
Absolutely.
it's like
absolutely, yeah.
kills the piece.
Okay, so let me finish by my own anecdote. I recorded the Lampel, and they wanted to have it Ashkenazi, and it's not just Ashkenazi, it's Leipzig. It's even like a more specific Matauvu Ovoleku, Matauvu Mishtego Seiko, and I can do it. I mean, so there was this German-speaking member of the choir who was in charge of correcting my Hebrew. And she was always right, and I was always wrong when she asked, doesn't it go like O's? And then, let me check. Actually, it does. So this also kind of funny cooperation with remembering a tradition that was never mine in my lifetime. Anyway, guys,
like the colliterate.
Yeah.
The problem thing is, like I say, how, the colliterate.
I said the Sephardi, yeah.
You can't, because it's Arabic.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much.
So we've got 4 things here. We've got Barbara, we've got Elia. Firstly, I want to say great thanks to Assaf. I think we were all able to relate to some bits of what you were saying, if not all of it. But thank you very much indeed. It was really interesting.